This is a story about a small community in central Illinois.
What we're going to do today, or for where we are right now, is go down one of these trails around here.
Phenomenon that happens in electrical generating and electrical use. It's known as power factor. The apparent power is the measurements you get in voltage and current, or the true power is the actual work that power can do, and there's a lot lost in there because of the voltage and current are not synchronized, and that's the way life is sometimes.
The village of Metamora is similar to others in the United States. A community that once based its livelihood on farming is now becoming a suburb of a larger city, in this case, Peoria. There are about 2,500 people in Metamora. It has 2 elementary schools, a mixture of Christian-based churches, a post office, a library, a high school, a football team. It also has a park district, in which there are a number of smaller parks and a town square, a pool, and a 435-acre parcel of land just outside the village limits called Black Partridge Park. Here, people from the surrounding county use the smaller area out front for picnics and youth sports. But in the back area, there are 75 acres of farmland leased for corn and soybeans, and 310 acres of woodlands, one of the last sizable tracts of forested area in Woodford County. Just over a year ago, a 4-colored, professionally produced plan appeared on the front page of the Peoria Journal-Star. It described the Park District's approval of a planned development for Black Partridge Park. It would become a $55 million golf resort and hotel complex. Included in the project was an 18-hole, 4-star golf course, hotel convention center, 63-acre lake, equestrian trails, amphitheater, hiking trails, picnic space, and so forth. The park board planned to lease the public land to private developers to bring in the revenue necessary to maintain and improve their other parks.
Here's my favorite part of all the trails that to cross. These are fun to step across on the stones and get your feet all wet.
It never fails. When you walk into a room and people are talking, they stop. Now, whether or not it's because they don't want you to hear what they're talking about, or whether because there's that intimidation factor, that's the one thing that I've noticed with it, is that quiet syndrome.
A group of citizens emerged in opposition to the development. They called themselves the Black Partridge Conservancy. Their mission statement was to preserve the natural environment of Black Partridge Park for the community and future generations. The Conservancy brought many social, economic, and environmental questions to the public and to the park board. They also phone surveyed the residents and determined that approximately 54% of those surveyed were not in favor of the plans. 13% were partially in favor, and 16% were unsure. The board was not responsive to their concerns and insisted that only a vocal minority of the town opposed the development.
Here's a trillium.
I think Gene Hart, in terms of the mayor, members of the city council. I think Jeff Warnsman would as a policeman, Black Partridge Conservancy. That certainly is a form of power.
I think any person or organization that speaks their mind opens the door to that power. You know, the person who does the listening has the power, and everybody wants their time in the limelight.
By the end of the first year, the emotional level was high. 2 lawsuits were pending against the park board. State legislation to force a referendum was on the governor's desk. Conservancy members helped place signs and banners throughout the town, some as large as the side of an industrial dumpster. They created a well-hit website where a bulletin board showed the anger of people on both sides of the issue, and editorials in the local paper reflected the heat of those emotions. Finally, the Conservancy began a petition drive to dissolve the Park District and received 630 signatures to get the issue on the November ballot. The Park Board continued with its monthly meetings and special informational meetings. The Conservancy offered informational meetings to counter those of the Park Board. There was no direct discourse on the issues.
That's a pretty big tree.
I like to suggest that the real power comes from serving people. As we serve people, it breaks down the walls and the barriers. And so that proposes a whole different power structure than what we typically think of as power.
A third group began, created by a member of the Conservancy and a member of the Park Board. Their objective was to try to bring peace and harmony to the community. Their goal was to de-escalate emotions and to promote respectful, open dialogue, discussion, and communication between the various viewpoints. The 12 individuals involved in the group represented only their own very diverse opinions, but they were all respected leaders in the community and included a founder of the original Park Board, the mayor, a village board member, the high school principal, and a pastor. The group made a proposal to the Park Board and to the Conservancy. They initiated a series of roundtable discussions designed to get all sides talking face-to-face and hosted a community-wide strategic development session led by an out-of-town professional mediator. The topic, what should we do with Black Partridge Park?
Where are we going?
At this time, it's not certain how this controversy will resolve itself. There are many unanswered questions. For example, has the Round Table accomplished anything? Will the voters dissolve the Park Board in November? Will any referendums placed on the ballot reflect the community's real desires? And finally, what does each of us do now?